To our next film.
Next
one is Tomb Raider. It's just come out. I haven't had a chance to go and watch it. Directed by Uthaug.
Yeah.
Some Norwegian director I've never really seen.
I didn't find anything on his Wikipedia page of notice.
Seems like this is his first film in mainstream. Yeah. So kudos to him. It's, I mean, for taking on a big role, project, big film, big project. So you guys have both watched it?
Yeah. Sorry, last night.
Abu, do you want to give us the honors of a quick overview?
So I don't think this needs much, to be honest, introduction.
What is Tomb Raider?
This is what is this?
Never heard of
Lara
it
Croft, who is she? But this is importantly based off the recent Tomb Raider games, which came out in like 2012, I think. So
Definitive edition.
Yeah, so this is like a reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise. This isn't like the old ones back in the 2000s, the cheesy slow motion, all that. So this
Angelina
is more,
Jolie.
Yeah, the Angelina Jolie ones. This is more of like a raw, weak Lara and how she became who she was. So this film follows the plot of the first game, which follows. You play the game, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't follow.
It's loosely. It's pretty.
Okay. It's super.
Well, at least the character is based.
The character, the location, the people. So it's loosely based off the first game, and it follows her adventure. She becomes from just a millennial pretty much into Lara Croft. The two guns, all that stuff. So.
All right. So she's a snowflake, and how she turns into a.
She's not really a snowflake, but she's just like a person, like a typical like young 20-year-old nowadays, being a Korean, and how she becomes who she becomes down the road. So yeah, that's it pretty much.
So what are the good points?
Good points. I think for a video game adaptation, which are usually garbage, this has done pretty well. So from that level, it's paid. The game is paid the game respect. It's portrayed the characters relatively well. It's not embarrassing. It's not like House of the Dead. Was it Alone in the Dark? House of the Dead, garbage movies like that. From that level, it's great. Like it's not. If you're a Tomb Raider fan, you'll love it. And the fact it's done it well. For over to Elenia, who looks like she's got something to say.
Yeah, go on, Elenia. Start with the good points first.
I'd say loosely based.
Yeah, it's very loosely.
Is an overstatement. The only similarity is Lara, Yamatai, and Himiko. That's it. And Matthias. But Matthias is a completely different character in this. So in the game, this is the game rant. In the game, she's on her own research mission, and she's got this massive ship, also called the Endurance, full of people who are helping her to find Yamatai and find Himiko, the Japanese
goddess of death or something.
So it still does go into the supernatural, does it?
Yeah, we'll leave that.
We'll leave that. We won't talk about that. That kind of gives stuff away. But so they get to the island, and the island is surrounded by this storm, and they crash onto the island. But what they find there is not Trinity. In the game, they find Father Matthias and a massive kind of cult following, and they want to raise Himiko because they think she is this massive goddess, and they take Lara's friend Sam and try and use her as one of the a handmaiden sacrifice. So in that respect, it's very different in terms of the storyline, and I think personally, I think they should have stayed a bit more with the game because I thought that would have been quite cool. Like,
how is the new story though?
The new story is interesting. I'm not sure I liked everything with the dad.
Yeah, I was going to say the daddy issues storyline was a bit like, oh, come on, we're not going to go down the daddy issues route again. But I would say it does pay off in the end. In the end, it does go down a route which I thought, okay, that's what they want to go with that, fair enough. But at the beginning, I was a bit skeptical, thinking, there's so many stories you could choose to do this. Because in the game, she doesn't go through the daddy issues route, does she?
No, because there are mentions of her dad, but she doesn't really talk about it that much. And she basically says, this is kind of what my dad did, so I do it now because I have all of his money. Yeah. But the really good parts of it, I thought, was how similar the action sequences were to the game.
That's what I think was the selling point of this movie.
There's parts in the game where you're going to be running through a tunnel and it's caving in on you, and you have to press X at the right time, and you've got to move to the left at the right time, and you've got to jump at exactly the point that the rock beneath you falls away, and that is exactly how she played it. They played it in the movie, and I really, really enjoyed that. I thought that was fantastic, and the fact that she's sneaking around the camp with a bow and arrow. I've got to say, I loved that whole part of the game because I was sitting there like, headshot, and that was really fun.
I haven't watched the film, but from the trailers, Alicia Vikander looks the part.
She's shredded, man, for this.
Absolutely on point. Alicia does.
And her character takes a beating, which is what happens in the game. So it's good they stuck to that.
You get beaten the hell out.
Yeah, so it's good the fact, because in the original two movies, she's pretty much like a superhero. Like she just doesn't get hurt, doesn't feel any emotion. Here, she's just like I said, she's raw. She's just beginning. Like she's never killed a person before, and she's thrown into situations. So like she's getting battered, getting spiked through the.
Oh yeah, you still have that.
That's the other thing I like, because in the game there's a bit where you like fall and you get this spike through your side, and she's like screaming in agony in the game, and then she does that in the movie as well.
She does grunt a lot and scream a lot in this film.
Yeah, there are a lot of sound effects.
She's
coming
constantly
out of her.
just like
she's always like
There's a lot of like.
It was really, but I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was
definitely,
especially game adaptations are just so terribly done, aren't they? So that's a good sign. Good sign.
The villain is amazing. I love the villain.
The villain is amazing. That is saying something.
He's just
typically don't.
Every time he came to, like, I hate this guy so much. I wish he dies. Like,
really?
That's like true, he's so creepy, and he just looks so like he looks like Trevor from Grand Theft Auto 5. He reminds me of Trevor. I'm like, I really hate this guy. I hope he gets it in the end. But I think that Walton
that sounds amazing. Like everything you're saying.
Goggins from like Django Justified. And
I mean, I got a lot of good stuff.
That makes me want to see the film.
I would say if you're a fan of gaming and you want to see it done proproperly, definitely check it out.
But even if you're not a fan of gaming and you just want to see,
actually that these new Tomb Raiders, you should definitely.
The games are sublime. I love the games. And luckily they put the ice pick back. When I was the ice pick,
I know. As soon as someone put the ice pick out, I was like, yes.
If you play the game, you know the ice pick is legendary.
The ice pick and the bow and arrow. That's all I wanted. But I kind of wish my one negative point was I think they should have kind of stuck closer to the video game.
But do you think that's only because you've played the game? Yeah. So there'll be lots of people who haven't played the game.
True, maybe, but. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Ellen before. I think they probably made the right move going away from the video game route, because
sometimes it's very difficult.
The video game route is firstly the game's a lot more in depth, and you get it's like 20, 30 hours. It's
very immersive.
Immersive, yes. But whereas here, it's a 190, 120 minutes. You need to kind of get to the chase. So I kind of think, in that sense, it would have been a bit weird in the movie to suddenly become the supernatural stuff it becomes in the game. I think this one they played the safer route, fair enough, which I think. Because it's the first film in a franchise, they're not really too sure if it's on. They just stuck it safe, and it didn't really bother me too much. Because I thought, how will they handle the stuff that happens in the game is pretty weird. Like, for a movie, they'd be like, where did that stuff come from? Because in the game, you read up on the history of the island,
of course,
all the literature, all the journals, all that stuff. So you kind of expect.
So
you kind of expect where it's going. Whereas here, if they
in the film, they don't have to do 100%.
Oh, it's true.
You don't have to be like me, who's a completionist.
Exactly.
Even then, from what you both have said, it sounds like the verdict is definitely go watch it. Definitely a scene to watch. One of the better versions of a game adaptation.
The thing is, though, the critical reviews have been pretty mixed.
It's like
tomatoes 50%. It's 50%. Audience scores a bit
50%.
That's slap bang in the middle.
Really bad. Yeah.
The audience scores like 78.
In the box office behind Black Panther.
Well, nothing to stop Black Panther.
That's a bit too close to Justice League.
Though, I mean, there are some. I mean, it's not totally perfect. I do want to mention a few flaws.
Go on quickly. We don't have.
She goes like what she's here is she's not the privileged woman she is in the original, where she owns a mansion. Here, she wants to go away and become her own person. So she's like a courier for Uber or whatever, Deliveroo, any of those. But she goes from this to this like lady who's just so brave. Like she'll jump off a ship, she'll land on an airplane, she'll do whatever. All this. So it's like kind of like, how did she go from that to suddenly becoming this person overnight?
It's one of those things where like you,
just like a bit,
you have it in you the entire time, and it just takes an event for you to bring it out.
But survival instinct.
Things that I would prefer to see just a bit of her beforehand, just like Alicia, like exploring someone, being out in the wild, just so you can tell, she's got this knack.
I think that's what the scenes in London were about, because
the bike
she's in the
fight
club and she's the bike chase is a bit cheesy, but I think it gives you that little bit of insight into who she can be.
But I think they should put drop in a bit more of her background of how she just becomes so adaptive on the island, because they show a bit of bow work. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. But the puzzle work, like apparently she's great at puzzles, but you never see her.
But like they're also hinting at the fact that she's some like hyper intelligent girl, and why is she a bike courier?
Yeah, right.
So I would have preferred to see a bit of that part.
Makes sense. To wrap it up, it sounds like a film definitely to watch. I'll definitely go watch it. Yeah. And so I'll leave it at that.
Like I said, it's getting a mixed reviews critically, so I don't really know what's happening there, to be honest.
Yeah. Most of the time, critics get it wrong.
Personally, as a fan of gaming and stuff, I enjoyed it, and I thought this is it's done well, and I think hopefully it gets a sequel because I think there's enough there.
I think there's a massive sequel bait at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I did think that...
There's like 3 sequel baits
that
in it.
little bit at the end with the guns I thought was a bit cheesy and I didn't really like it.
It felt a bit like the original.
It was a bit
films.
forced, but overall I think it's definitely worth going to see. And in my mind, when she's like hanging on to the plane, I have in my head I'd like superimposed the X with the circle going around it, going press X.
I think that was I think they really did interpret the game quite well, especially the survival stuff in the winter.
All right, good to know. Let's move on to the next one. The next film is Annihilation by